Mr. Vineet, thank you for joining us. It's always a pleasure to interact with you.
Likewise, thank you.
Thank you so much. This is the second year of hospitality, aviation and tourism. Of course, it would be on the pretext of having a successful first conference. What has been the motive behind doing it for the second time and possibly even doing it on an annual basis as you announced at the start of the day?
So last year when we conducted the HAT conference for the first time, I think we were driven by the fact that there were some green shoots that we were seeing in terms of hotel occupancy rates going up, but everyone was skeptical. One was not, one did not have high conviction whether this is here to stay or not. Likewise, there were also changes that we were seeing in the landscape for the aviation industry. Although the passenger load factor has been going for the last 2-3 years, I think we were in a questioning mode as far as last year is concerned. But having seen the unabated growth in both the segments in the last 12 months, we thought that it was only opportunistic, and it is also relevant for us to do the conference for the second time again this year.
Absolutely. Being a part of the audience, I could also see how it would benefit the investors at large, which giving such insights from absolute stalwarts of the industry. My second question to you, sir, is about the aviation panel which we had, in which we spoke about how India is the third largest order pipeline after China and the United States. We spoke about how the airline players are benefiting from this, the airport authority is benefiting from this. What about the masses at large? What change can they see, or what change are they already seeing?
So if you will recollect that one of the panelists that we had today was from a domestic scheduled airlines, and what he shared with us was that in order to create the demand of a greater number of passengers who are flying around, it was also commented that between 2014 to 2017, the number of passengers that will flow around have increased from 61 million to 100 million. Now, one of the beneficial factors has been the input cost of ATF, right, which has been softer over the last year or two. And the benefit of that lower ATF fuel cost has been passed on to the passengers, which means that the demand at a more reasonable pricing has resulted in what we are seeing in terms of the growth numbers. Also, you must have noticed that there are two strategies that the domestic airlines are playing with. One is low cost, no frills kind of flights. The other one is a full service. So the passenger now has the freedom and the choice to select which one he opts for. But what is clearly visible is that based on the demographics of India, the middle class and the higher disposable income that is available to middle class and perhaps even the lower middle class is resulting in a sustained growth in the airline traffic. And that's, I think, the more exciting factor that we wanted to bring out and then underpin this entire conference in terms of how it looks over the next 4 or 5 years.
Right. Likewise, with the same panelist, he spoke about how earlier, even during peak season, maybe a decade back, maximum occupancy would be an 80% probably. But now, of course, the scenario with the reasons that you stated just now is changing. Now we're looking at during peak season 100% capacity, while even in a non-peak or an off-season, we're looking at 75 to 80%, which was earlier the benchmark for being the best that there is.
Yeah.
What's the way forward from here? You're already at the top. What can we do? What can we further do to grow further?
Yeah. So the point that you made is in very simple terms, we are at a full capacity or close to full capacity. Whenever any industry moves to a full capacity situation, the only logical thing to do is to increase the capacity or to identify ways in which the higher than the full capacity can be handled differently, more efficiently. So there are a variety of things that are in the pipeline. The first one is the civil aviation policy itself, which the government of India came out with in 2016 in order to put together an ecosystem, an integrated ecosystem for the local civil aviation industry as a whole. That itself is now the bedrock of how the industry will move forward. One of the important factors or one of the important elements of that policy is to let the infrastructure grow in tier 2 and tier 3 cities. The second is to decongest the airports that are there in tier 1 cities. If tier 1 city airports cannot be decongested, then there is a way to look at that problem by offering alternate landing airports which are within a radius of 100 kilometers from the main airport, whether it is Bengaluru or Mumbai. So there are ways in which this entire situation of growing demand, 100% capacity utilization, working at the brim, will get addressed by the system at large, by the airport operators, by the airlines, and also the government. And I would remain positive about this being some of the reasons why the industry will continue to show a growth rate, a compounded annual growth rate of above 13% even for the next 3-4 years.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for taking such initiatives. I feel privileged to be a part of it, and thank you for everything.
No,
thank you
it's a
so
pleasure.
much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.